Good afternoon from AfricaCom 2025 here in sunny Cape Town. I'm together with David Farquharson, CEO of iONLINE, and John Freeman, CEO at Stacuity. Nice to meet you, gentlemen.
Nice to meet you as well.
Tell us a bit about yourself and your respective business.
Sure, so my name's John. I'm the CEO of Stacuity. I've been around as the CEO for about a year now. But I've got
fresh.
Yeah, quite fresh. We're making huge progress. This year has been transformational for the business. A lot of hard work went in. I've got the easy job now. So just taking us on the next ride, the next part of our journey. Very exciting growth journey for us. As a business, we focus on providing a mobile core technology, software-defined mobile core technologies based on transformational technologies underneath that allow differentiated scaling and deployments. And we're going to, I think, through the interview, we'll talk about some of the challenges we address.
All right, thank you. Dave, what about you?
Thanks, I'm Dave, CEO of iONLINE, also a global mobile network operator, operating in 220 countries in the world and territories. Really excited to partner with Stacuity on their mobile core edge. We deploy enterprise services to enterprise companies around the world that require secure connectivity and scalable and resilient services.
All right. So iONLINE has recently selected Stacuity as its core network provider. So why did iONLINE make the decision to deploy their own mobile core?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. So as we deploy secure connectivity solutions around the world, one of the biggest dependencies companies have is the requirement to obviously keep things alive, right? Keep things up, keep things moving, switch between multiple mobile networks. And currently on the landscape, you just can't do that. So Stacuity and ourselves are bringing a product to market which helps enterprises switch between carriers, create local resilience, create local breakout, and build a solution that they can stand large-scale businesses on top of. So that's what we're doing.
So how important is agility in such a process?
Yeah, I mean, obviously agility is everything, right? Because you're moving through diverse regions, diverse geographic locations, you're moving between different compliances like regulatory controls in Africa, and Germany is one of the biggest ones. It's got like Turkey and Brazil, and so you've got all these locations where agility plays a big role. If you're not able to be agile and move quick, then you put the customer at risk and their business structure and their business growth at risk. So we're incredibly agile with what we've got. Normal operators would take 8 to 9 months, sometimes 12 months to deploy what we can do in 2 weeks.
Wow.
You know, so that enables the economy, enables growth. So countries around the world will be able to grow faster because of the agility we bring.
True. John, tell us about Stacuity and how is it different as a standout solution?
Sure, so I mean, to talk to some of Dave's points around the agility, the flexibility in deployment, I think that's the fundamentals for us. So in a traditional mobile network, anyone who's had the joy of working in the MVNO space or IoT SIM space understands that they're pretty slow processes to go through. Like you said, Dave, you know, it's just very lethargic. There's lots of planning and blah, 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 very complicated. Also very expensive because it's deployed using traditional architectures. So with Stacuity, we've got a very innovative architecture in terms of the way we deploy. We decouple the control plane from the user plane, and we're able to deploy, and we are in the process of deploying many user plane nodes. So creating that local user experience, both in terms of latency, data sovereignty, content delivery networks, all of the things that we require in the eSIM and IoT space, but also with an incredible level of granularity of visibility. So I think visibility is another key thing in IoT particularly, where the customer wants, you know, they've got 100,000 smart meters that are all waking up at 6 a.m. and none of them are connecting for some reason. But you have to wait 2 weeks to schedule a call with a local operator to do a packet trace. Whereas in the platform that we provide to iONLINE, you can click a button, you can see what's going on across the whole estate yourself, or iONLINE can do it for you as a managed service in this case. And that's part of what we do. So trying to bring sort of decentralized control, but bringing that with agility and also distribution, so providing that local experience globally.
So it's also kind of an empowering process.
100%. I mean, I think that's why we're good at synergies as a business, because that's iONLINE's principles, empowering their customers to be a success in the enterprise space, and our whole platform principle is about enabling providers to have that power.
All right. So David, for enterprises operating globally, there are growing challenges on one side from low latency and also data sovereignty. So how does it impact your customers?
Yeah, well, obviously, if you've got data sovereignty issues and you're roaming across multiple networks, you could have SIM cards disconnect or devices disconnect when they shouldn't disconnect, right? And so that brings your business down. You also have dead spots, like dead spots where if you connected to one mobile carrier, but there's no coverage in that area. You've probably experienced as well, traveling through Europe, you'll see, and even Africa, there's no coverage in certain areas. So if you don't have connection on another network, you're dead, right? Your device is dead. Our whole idea is to bring devices alive. So if you're killing them, it doesn't help, does it? Especially for businesses. So with the solution, we're able to then switch between multiple carriers, in real time, help them manage data sovereignty by keeping the data transversing local breakouts in local countries where required for those sort of solutions. And so that enables enterprise companies to scale much bigger. And we've had one customer already scale from 500 devices to 500,000 devices because we were able to deploy something similar to this. So it really helps to be able to create that edge environment, but also manage the complexity around the compliance.
So basically, technology becomes a lever to overcome obstacles.
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. That's exactly what it's for. We look for obstacles, we solve them with a solution.
So you take the obstacle as opportunity.
Yeah, well, the problem. We enjoy the problem, not the solution. And I think that's another thing we share as businesses. We're really interested in solving real life problems. It's not really about the technology. You know, I am a CTO by training, but it's not about the technology. It's about solving the right problem in the right way. And there's a lot more than just the technology. Like, I'm very proud of what we do at Stacuity, but organizations like iONLINE, the way they navigate the politics and all of the craziness, you know, regulatory compliance requirements, all of the stuff within the operators, bringing those things together is what's powerful.
So you're basically market or demand driven. It's not like you dictate what the client wants, you understand, you listen, and you develop.
100%. And having solutions that, I mean, iONLINE have 50-something plus verticalized solutions, right? And having those things out of the box is amazing, but also being able to hear a need and go, actually, the stack we have is going to take, we have to flick 3 little switches to make that work. And we can do that in 2 minutes rather than 6 weeks with an operator normally, is amazing.
Stunning. So John, tell us more about Stacuity's innovative edge infrastructure.
Sure, so we have 2 products actually. So one is a core, which where a mobile network operator or an MVNO would bring an entire donor IMSI range onto our product, and they would operate it as a full core mobile network stack, the HSS all the way through to the packet gateway network. The edge product is just the packet geteway side of that, which means that if you have a relationship, an existing relationship with a mobile network operator, or you are a mobile network operator, typically the data, when you connect, it will go back to the mobile network operator's home packet gateway network, and then come back to wherever it's supposed to go to. So you can end up with traffic going all the way from here in Cape Town back to somewhere in Europe, and then coming back here if you're accessing resources over here. So our distributed packet gateway network, our edge product, allows that data to stay in country. So with iONLINE, I'm really excited that actually we're announcing our partnership, and you know, these guys represent us over here, but also in terms of our deployment in Johannesburg. So we've just launched in time for the show our point of presence here. So now you can get on the iONLINE services with IMSIs that aren't based in here, but you can get the data experience over here. So our edge product brings that local experience, which is latency, and resilience as well is very important, IPX peering and bringing all of those things together in one place. So the edge product is designed and focused on enabling MVNOs and MNOs to expand their local data experience without having to fully integrate a core. So it's like a lightweight integration, which brings like 80% of the benefits, but at 20% of the effort.
That's a transformative proposition. So David, is there anything you can add to it, how it helps, or you iONLINE customers can benefit from that?
Yeah, look, I mean, all customers that we deal with, their businesses are based on actionable insights. Yeah. So what can I get out of this that makes my product better? And this is what this brings, right? So at the end of the day, customers are worried about how quick can my transactions work? How can I see what transactions happen? How do I know when something went wrong? How do I solve that? How do I fix it? And traditional MNOs are really hard to do that. This creates a real-time play with real-time actionable insights, visibility that enables businesses to thrive, because now they're able to see what's going wrong, going right, and move around that environment, but also keep the data local. So in cases where we work with ATMs or banking systems where they're currently sitting with 400, 500 milliseconds of latency, they now have about 40 milliseconds of latency. So transaction speeds are faster, which means devices stay alive. So that's kind of where we see the customer's biggest impact, is where we can give them back actionable insights and visibility, which we'll do as a core team for partners in South Africa and around the world.
All right, thank you. So John, Stacuity's South Africa location is now being deployed.
Yep.
So can you tell us about what's ahead, what is coming?
Well, world domination, honestly. I mean, off the top of my head,
You go for the small goals.
yes, yeah, exactly. Aim low. No, we're aiming high. So we already have, we call them the super pops. So we have North America, we have Europe, and we have Asia. And then they're multi-site and fully resilient on-site, multiple peer, IPX for the geeks who are listening to this video, and multiple IP peering out to the internet and all of the major web, AWSs of the world and so on. Now what's ahead are some of the tougher regions, to be honest. So SA is, because we've got great partners in Dave, it's been a breeze. But Brazil, that's just about to go live, be live by December, and the same in the UAE, and we're looking at Sydney right now as well. So but basically lots of dots on the map. But focusing in the US, we're going to be bringing on a second US site. People often fall into the trap of the United States of thinking East Coast, West Coast. That's not how latency works on a mobile network. So we've got some very clever technology that's looking at least path, low cost routing, or not in terms of finance, in terms of like data path and latency. So we're looking at innovative ways of trying to solve some real life problems on single continents as well, where you identify as a single country code. So that's what we've got, a lot of innovation in terms of product and feature set as well. Surfacing. One of the things we always challenge ourselves with is trying to look at the problem, and solve it. Not just sit in the background and build cool technology, but as part of our stack, we're able to surface every single network event that's hidden. There's all metadata to us as mobile users. We don't see it, but being able to surface that in a way that's consumable by platforms like iONLINE, or even the enterprise. iONLINE will be sharing some of this to the end, and they can just subscribe to it. Say, I want to know when a device goes offline, for example. In telematics, it's quite a useful use case. Typically, it's crossing a border. There isn't a roaming agreement in place that someone thought there was. We need to do something about that, rather than 6 weeks later, someone getting a fine because they missed their SLAs on these high-value goods. So for us, again, we surface all of that, but we continue to look at how we can bring the highest amount of value from surfacing what's the fundamentals of pretty boring 3GPP-based standards in the telecom space and translating them into the IT space.
So how important is the African market for you?
It's an incredibly challenging market for us, which is why partnering with iONLINE is so important, because we're not experts in the market. I mean, I have a couple of interests in African countries, but they are all challenging markets to deal with. You need to be very well connected. And I think the combination of trying to work with mobile networks and being in the African region is like a double whammy. So for us, it's a very important region with this huge growth opportunity here. There's huge connectivity challenges. Dave spoke about the multi-IMSI approach, the multi-subscriber approach. It's very, very important in a market like this, because you simply don't have the RAN coverage across, you've got lots of countries, and in those countries you don't have full coverage anywhere on a particular network. So very, very complicated. But our goal in partnership is to take those problems away. You should be able to take a service through iONLINE where you're not thinking about that. You're just able to see with confidence on a dashboard that everything's working as it should, or it isn't.
Or it isn't, which is good.
And then it's actionable. That's really important.
Yeah, and I think one of the other big things for Africa is resilience is like one of the most important pieces. Africa is full of issues with power utilization, corruption, all sorts of stuff that happens in Africa. But power is one of the biggest issues, and so even mobile networks collapse, even when they do have coverage. If you don't have resilience, you start switching off water meters, you start switching off traffic lights, smart cities, camera systems, security surveillance. All these things are governed and require connectivity. So with what we're doing allows for resilient switching between carriers when that kind of stuff happens. So and then adding the security layer on top of that, because if you're building a solution with IoT around the world, security is going to be everything. Like if you've got all these things connected and people can hack them, then you've got another issue on your hands altogether. You can bring down cities, right? So without two components and security play, this is not just a connectivity play across the world, it's just a security play across the world.
And when my friends ask me what we do, I say we're like HSBC, we're like the local bank. So we try to provide that local, brilliant, amazing, world-class network service for IoT, but it feels local to them.
Feels local.
So we have all the experience, all the connections from on a global basis, and we're truly global. As we are both truly global. But at the same time, that experience of the customer is personalized and localized to them and what they need it to be.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time and the conversation. Thank you. That was TechAfrica News from AfricaCom 2025. You can find more on techafricanews.com.